welcome you all. And a very good morning as I welcome you all for another session of Growing Up with Values with Aunty Drups. And again, it's a beautiful Sunday morning. The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day. And after the session, I hope you will go out and play and take some sunlight and enjoy the day breeze and all of that. But for now, I would like you all to sit quietly as we begin another session. Sit quietly and close your eyes. I am waiting for you all to sit. No, not everyone is sitting right now. Navya, are you sitting? Sarvesh, are you sitting? Arna, Sakshi, Sharvi, right? Good. Now that you're sitting, and you close your eyes, and we go on that imaginary journey. And today we are going to imagine that each one of us is a beautiful star in the sky, and the star is a symbol of light, and that light is twinkling over the world. And you are up there and you are looking down at everything and everyone. And it's a very starry night, so it's bright outside, the moon is shining, and you are a radiant, beautiful, twinkling star. And we should all be like the stars, spreading light wherever we go. And you sit quietly and you imagine yourself in the sky, just like a beautiful star. And you sit there quietly. You think of all the good things that there's around us. And what a wonderful world it is. With all the trees, the rivers, the seas, all of nature. And we look out at this beautiful world. And we are at peace. And we gently open our eyes. And how do you feel? Right, I am sure you feel at peace with yourself. And you feel peace with everyone around you. And today's story is based on peace in the nation, peace in your home, peace wherever you go. And you know, sometimes you have a friend, and if that friend is tall, you call him tall boy or tall girl or whatever. And if that you have a friend and the friend is short, you will say, Shorty, come here, and Shorty, go there. And you give fun names to your friends, right? And it's a joke, and then it becomes a reality. And sometimes you hear somebody call out somebody like, Shorty, come here, and Tolly, come here, and you accept the names as they are. So now there was in this town there were people who sometimes you find short, fat people and tall, thin people. So in this town there were people, some of them were very, very tall and slim, and some were very short and fat. And they would refer to the tall ones as tallies and the short ones as shorties. Sometimes they might even call the tall ones bean poles, and they would call the shorter ones shrimps. But everybody lived happily until one day somebody said, but wait, their children, everybody used to play together, and they would live in harmony, and they would share, and they would love, etc. So one day, a woman named Miriam realized that, wait a minute, we are not all the same. I am short and fat, and so are all of you all here. And they are so tall and thin. We are different from them. So she put that in everybody's head who was short. We are different from them. We are better than them. And so there became a little bit of hostility and they became enemies, and the tall ones would stay on their side, the short ones would stay on their side, and they became worse of enemies. And then they did not allow the children to play with each other, and they broke down all the things of friendship, and they put walls of hatred, barriers of hatred among the tall ones and the short ones. So the tallies were living in one area, and the shorties were living in another area. So this went on for a while. They never went to the same business places. The children never went to the same schools. They never spoke. They never helped each other, and so on. And life was going along like that, with them being mean to each other and not considering their friendship that they had before. So one day a strange thing happened, and there was a bright, very, very bright light in the sky. And right after that bright light, no one was able to see. They had all left, their sights had all left them. So they couldn't see anything. It was like a meteor in the sky overcoming that place, the land. And nobody could see. So if you cannot see, you're just going around the place aimlessly, not knowing where you're going. And they were each one calling for help. And at this stage, they all got mixed up because everybody was moving helter-skelter. They didn't know what to do. And they would hold each other's hand. And where can I go for this, and where can I go for that? And they realized, the short people realized that when somebody held their hands to help them, that their hands were not short and fat. And the tallies realized that when somebody was helping them, their hands were not thin and long. So they realized, but wait, the shorties realized that the tallies were not as mean as they would expect them to be, because they were holding them and leading them to the correct places. And when they asked for their children, they would all help and say, here I am. And the tallies would be helping the shorties, and the shorties would be helping the tallies. And the same person called Miriam, who started the enmity between the two sets of people, realized that I am a shorty, and they are helping me all along. The tallies are helping me all along. So they're not really as mean as I thought they would be. And the tallies were being helped by the shorties. And the tallies realized that they were being helped by who used to be their enemies. And then they realized that, wait a minute, they're not mean, they're not bad, and we are accepting each other's help. And they went along with this plan of action, as it were, and they helped each other, and they got through their loss of sight. And then just as suddenly as they lost their sight, something happened, and like a miracle, they all got back their sight. And when they did get back their sight, they realized that they were living together. And everybody started to question this behavior, especially the elders in the community. The elders said that, wait a minute, we have been living together like friends, like family for so many years, and suddenly we became enemies, and we lived in love and peace and harmony. And now, during the state of blindness, we continue to live in harmony. So why did we have this enmity in the first place? And they realized that each one helped the other, and it was all for nothing. Because they realized that in spite of how they looked, they were basically human beings with a loving heart to give each other and to help each other. So in spite of the way the shorties were looking to the tallies, they realized that they were their friends, and they have all these things in common. They have their love in nature, they have their helpful nature, and they continue to prosper. They shared everything. After that, they realized that they were meant to live together in love, peace, and harmony. So the children started to mix together and play together. The parents used to go to the same places of business. They would go to the supermarkets, the groceries. They would share their crops. They were gardeners. They used to plant crops. They would share. The shorties and the tallies would share their crops, and they realized that it was all for nothing. They were living together in love and harmony, and that is what we need to do in our lives. So I'm going to ask you some very short questions on this passage. Now, certain things will divide us from one another. And these things start with a little idea in someone's head, and it will work its way. And, you know, they're saying that someone is causing mischief among us. We should not allow ourselves to be misled by people who do not have best intentions. Listen to the good that people have to tell you. Don't listen to the bad. Sometimes in a fit of anger, we would say things that we later regret. And this is common for all people. For all people. After we let something out of our mouth. Now, 3 things that come not back. A sped arrow. Spoken words. Spoken words can kill a whole nation. Because once you say something, you cannot take it back. You apologize, but the word has already been said. So sometimes you must think before you talk and before you act. Right? So the tallies and the shorties did not think of their actions when they became enemies. But realizing that they were good for each other, they became friends. And they lived together in harmony. Now let me ask you a few questions and let me see if you can remember the answers. Now, there were 2 groups of people in this story and they had nicknames for each other. Can anybody guess what was one of the group's name? Right, tallies. Devan, can you give me the next group? Right, shorties. So there were 2 groups, tallies and shorties. Now at the beginning of the story, how did they behave with each other? To whom? Right, they lived together in love and harmony. Viresh, what is the name of the person who first thought that they were different? Can you remember the name? Right. Miriam, right, a lady called Miriam. She instigated what caused all the trouble. Now, what relationship did they have before they became enemies, as you would say? What relationship did they have? Arya. Right, the children would play together, they would go to shop together, same supermarkets, etc. Now, after Miriam noticed a difference with the 2 sets of people, how did they behave with each other? Sanjeev. Right. What happened with the children? The children could no longer play with each other. Pravir, now, what happened? What disaster happened in the land? Can you remember what happened? What disasters, what bad happened in the land? Right. First, there was a bright light. Can you imagine a bright light in the sky? Right, there was a bright light, and then what happened to everybody else? Sanjaya? Everybody lost their sight. Now, could you imagine something like that? Everybody losing their sight? How do you think they would react, Rajiv? Afraid, scared, Ravina, what else? Panic, that was total panic. Now, who helped the Smallies? Who helped the Smallies? Kavir. Right, the Tallies helped the Smallies, the Shorties. Who helped the Tallies? Right, they both helped each other. Okay? Now the tallies went to the shorties went to the tallies. What did Miriam, who instigated the first evil thought, what did she realize? Right, she was a shorty, and what did she realize? Right, you all have the answer. She realized that they were helping each other. Now, what does this teach us? Who can answer me that? Vivek. What does this teach us? Good. That we must help each other whenever we have to. Okay? Each one must help each other whenever we need to. And this brings us back to our own situation in our country. Now, as I said before, we spoke about anger some times ago. And I told you that anger was, who remembers? Anger is like a dangerous dog. Always keep it properly chained. Right? Anger is like a dangerous dog. Always keep it properly chained. Because that anger would make you do and say all sorts of things. You would later regret it, but once it has been done, it has been done. So we'll continue a little bit about that. We'll share the song, and it's a song that you are familiar with. Do you remember the song? And this is what is our purpose in life. In spite of all the differences we have, this is the way we live. You do not judge anyone by the way they look, by the way they act. You judge them by what you see in them. And you must see good in all. So you know the song. We're going to sing this song and together. Love all, serve all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, says the Lord. Think no evil, do no evil. Love all, serve all, says the Lord. And that is what we must have in our minds each and every day. We live to please the Lord, and the way we please the Lord is by serving others. There's a little bit of God in each one of us, and some people don't seem to realize it, the way they treat others. So when you look at someone, you see God in that person, and that is the way you're going to treat them, right? So you see God in each and every one of us. No matter how bad you think a person is, that person has God in them. It is just that they behave contrary to or different from what they should be doing. So let's sing the song. Serve all, listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all, this is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you love all, serve all, listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all, this is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all.
See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, says the Lord. Think no evil, do no evil. Love all, serve all, says the Lord. Love all, serve all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, says the Lord. Think no evil, do no evil, love all, serve all, says the Lord. Love all, serve all.
Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord.
If you love
The Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all. Okay? I'm sure you enjoy that song by now. I'm sure you know that song. And it's telling us love all, serve all. In spite of differences in religion, despite differences in language, there must be no barrier for how we feel about someone. You always feel love in your heart for the next person. And I would like to share with you some words. Okay. There's only one religion, the religion of love. Okay, people might belong to a different religion. We have Hindus, Muslim, Zoroastrian, Buddhism, Christianity, all different religions we have in the world. But that one thing that binds us together is the religion of love. There is only one language, the language of the heart. It does not matter what language you speak, but the language of the heart, where there's a heart, there is love, right? So there's a language of the heart. There is only one race, whether you belong to whatever ethnic group, whether you're Indo, Trinidadian, Afro-Trinidadian, you belong to Chinese, Spanish, French, whatever race. There is only one race, and in the eyes of God, the human race. We are all human beings. We have to live together in harmony on this planet. And you hear about wars and fights. And for what end? To destroy lives? Is that why we are here, to destroy lives? Right, we must live in love. There's only one religion. Okay, I would like you all to repeat this after me, please. Together, after. There's only one religion. The religion of love, right? Love. There's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one race, the human race. Now let us read it together because it's an important verse. Together, I want to hear all your voices. There's only one religion, the religion of love. There is only one language, the language of the heart. There is only one race, and it's the human race. And you must remember, God says, God is love, right? God is love. And God says, love each other as I love you, right? What does God say? God says, love each other as I love you. Let's say that again. God says, love each other as I love you. So in spite of people's differences in looks, in color, sometimes you'll find a very dark person. Sometimes you'll find a person who is dark brown, light brown, white, yellow, whatever the color of their skin. That should not affect the way you feel about that person. That must not affect the love in your heart for that person. And even in our beautiful island of Trinidad and Tobago, our twin republic, we live in harmony. Why is it that around this time, election time, everybody gets so angry and everybody says things that they don't mean, and everybody else's enemy? Don't let politics affect your relationship. You were friends before, your elections will come and go, and you will be friends afterwards. Right? So don't let that one incident hinder your friendship with others. Love, love, and love. We must love each other. Throw away all the hatred, throw away all the bad talking, live together in harmony. That is what God wants us to love each other. Right? Now, I would like you all to think about that again. God wants us to love each other. We are all brothers and sisters. When you go to school, you don't say, I'm not playing with that one because he's dark. I'm not playing with that one because he's fair. I'm not playing with that one because he's tall. I'm not playing with that one because he's short. You're all together in a class and you live in love and harmony. I am sure your teachers admire children who love each other. In a classroom, when you go to school, when you reach into your classroom, it is a family unit with the teacher as the leader of that family, right? So that class becomes a family where you all work together, where you all love each other, where you all help each other, right? So in your village, that is what it should be like. In your town, in your city, wherever you live in love and harmony with your neighbors. Do not make outward appearances affect your feelings for your neighbors. If you have a problem with your neighbors, you go and you talk it out. If you have a problem with someone, you go and you talk it out. Sometimes there's misunderstanding in the community, and the problem gets bigger if you do not speak about it. If I have a problem with someone, my next door neighbor, and I don't say anything, you feel one way, and the person probably doesn't understand why I am acting that way. Why is she acting that way? And I am harboring something inside of me which is becoming a lot of hate and hate. And unless I go and say something to that person will be in total ignorance, not knowing what is the problem, unless you talk it out. So if you have a problem with someone, go and kindly talk it over and come to some understanding. But do not harbor any hatred or malice or ill will for the people around you. Always, as God says, live in love and harmony. And we again sing the song before we close. Okay, and I want you all to sing loudly so that I can hear you. So listen to the call of the Lord. La this is the call of the Lord.
If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, says the Lord. Think no evil, do no evil, love all, serve all, says the Lord. Love all, serve all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all. Love all, serve all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, says the Lord. Think no evil, do no evil, love all, serve all, says the Lord. Love all, serve all. Listen to the call of the Lord. Love all, serve all. This is the call of the Lord. If you love the Lord, then you must love all. If you serve the Lord, then you must serve all. Love all, serve all.
Okay, so that is what I would like you all to think about. Love all, serve all. And you must also remember there's only one religion, the religion of love. There's only one language, the language of the heart. There's only one race, the race of the human race. Right? So for next day, I want you all to remember also, anger is like a dangerous dog. Always keep it properly trained. And there are more things that unite us than divide us. Right? We all have emotions. We all have sadness. We all have love. We all have hate. But we have to curb the evil tendencies in us and bring forth the good tendencies of love, peace, compassion, and those things. Right? So be good children. Until next week, remember, think of what you are saying before you say it, and do not ever hurt anyone in whatever you say. Be good little children as you are. Love you all, and goodbye until next week. Love